And what is up, everybody? It's your boy Ben Goosen here with you this week with my boy Sage the Mark. What up, Sage? How you doing?
Oh, bro, I don't know how to answer that question. It's been a
I
crazy week,
truly,
man.
I truly hope Sage and I. It's not a good day. I mean, it's a good day. If the biggest of my problems are a podcast setup, I can't complain. But I have to admit, pretty pissed off. Yeah, I want to go off on Microsoft right now because if the quality, I need to hold the phone closer to me. I'm calling into the podcast today, so the quality, please forgive me on my end. Please forgive me. May not be that great. There's some Microsoft system issues that are going down, and I'm not going to get into the details. However, I can't log into the podcast like I normally do, so I apologize if the quality on my end. Sage Mark's going to sound great. I'm probably sounding like I'm calling into the show. It's bad. I'm not going to go into it. You got to think positive in these situations, super positive. So let's get into this week. Well, let's not get into the week of wrestling, but let's get into the outside the ring week of wrestling.
Okay.
Anything else you want to touch on before we get started?
Um, Not so much in wrestling, man, but I'm trying to figure out what the hell the Spurs are doing right now, man. They they trying
The,
to bamboozle people, man. What the hell? I mean,
so did
I
you?
ain't a Spurs fan,
Well,
but
I wanted to talk to you about that this week. So we'll do Spurs, then we'll go into some LeBron talk. So did you hear right before we started the podcast? Some news broke that Kawhi's camp and this is bad. Apparently, the news going around today is that when the Spurs went to New York to visit Kawhi and his team of doctors, when the Spurs showed up at the arena, Kawhi's boys went and hid Kawhi in a different room, so he didn't have to see the Spurs.
hide. What the hell?
Why? I don't know.
What is he scared
Kawhi.
of? What's he scared of?
Exactly. Exactly. I didn't get it. So
He
apparently
worried.
that's the thing going
He
around
worried we
today.
trying to bribe him with some enchiladas and some carne asada tacos or something, man.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
That's exactly what it is. Why would you run away scared? Man up. Why would you run away scared just because you don't want to talk to somebody? So that's blatant disrespect. What do you think?
I mean, I don't know what the circumstances of it is, man. I mean, I know he's not been happy with being here in San Antonio, and honestly, with the landscape of everything in the NBA right now, I could see him on the East Coast, man. I mean, the East Coast needs desperately some talent, so I mean, it is what it is, but I think it's kind of an insult that the Spurs try to empty out the Lakers locker room for Kawhi Leonard. I mean, I don't know if they were trying to be cute, but I mean, to me, that was kind of an insult to Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, it was. It's a game. Like I think NBA offseason is becoming uh, reality TV, and I enjoy it. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love it. I think it's interesting. I think it's fun. It's cool stuff. But so speaking of the Lakers, so what do you think about? Are you a Lakers fan now?
I I am not a Lakers fan. I will never be a Lakers fan. Just like when Steve Nash went to the Lakers, I was a Steve Nash fan, but not a Lakers fan. I will be a LeBron fan, but not a Lakers fan.
Okay, I can see that. So you're gonna pull for LeBron for sure.
Oh yeah, I'm a pull from my boy, man. Look, I think that him going to the West, and we've said this, man. We've actually talked about this, like on year one, that LeBron needs to go to the West. For the simple fact is that that's where all the competition is, and if he can win a championship on a West Coast team, then he can literally shut down all critics in terms of any type of criticisms with him because that's where the talent is. Everyone keeps saying, "Well, he has an easy path to the playoffs because there's no competition in the East." Well, now we're going to see what they say when he goes through everybody in the West.
Yeah, I agree, man. Interesting week in the NBA in general. Let's get into. There wasn't much outside of the ring this week, wrestling wise, except
Mm.
for man, I don't even remember her name, but she was accusing Jay Lethal in ROH of de-pushing her and getting her terminated.
What?
Oh man, I forgot. Yeah, because she didn't sleep with him.
So she
So a
was offering
female,
herself to. Oh, no, I don't know. Was she offering herself to him, and he turned her down?
other
Is
way
that
around. So a
he
female
offered
wrestler,
himself to her?
I think with ROH or TNA, I forget her name. And since I'm on my phone doing the podcast, I can't tune in. Uh, I forget her name, but she accused her de-push.
Oh, Tyler Hendricks.
That's who it is. Taylor Hendricks.
Oh
She's
my
actually
God.
fighting here tomorrow night in San Antonio.
Isn't she? Isn't her boyfriend in WWE?
I don't know,
Wow.
but he accused Jay Lethal, and I mean this is nothing I'm making up. This isn't dirt sheets or anything like that. It's something that you could check her Twitter profile. Her tweets say it loud and clear that she didn't sleep with Jay Lethal and she got a D push. Hopefully that's not the case at all.
Yeah. Come on, man. I mean, I know everybody likes a slice of American pie, man, but you can't like it that much, man. Not to man. I don't get it, man. I don't get it, man. Just swipe left, man. Is it or is it swipe right? Which one is it? Swipe right?
Don't know.
Yeah, man. Swipe right, man. Don't take it any further than that, man, because it's only gonna get you into more trouble, male or female. It's only gonna get you into more trouble. So just swipe right.
And then you get locked up. They
Won't
won't
let
let
me
me out.
out. Get him!
They
Get
won't
him!
let me out. Oh,
Oh.
so for the record, my Windows update is still at 0%.
We're gonna post check it throughout the night.
It's embarrassing. So in the ring this week, if you look at the title of the show and just, would you say that this week Raw was better than SmackDown?
I said both of them were trash this week, man.
Wow.
Both of them was trash. The signing show of the week was 205 Live, man.
What was I didn't watch 205 Live. What was the
Oh man,
what made 205 Live great?
bruh. I don't even know where to begin. I really do. For the exception of Leo Rush's promo, which that in itself is Leo Rush apparently wants to be the Naomi, so that's kind of interesting. But we had the return of Noam Dar, and bruh, I'm gonna I'm just I'm just gonna say this, man. Noam Dar should be the blueprint of how you should look when you come back from injury, bruh. This dude was shredded. I mean, he looked like who he looked like no who's a shredded dude back in the day, man.
Like
He looked like
Luther?
Rick Rude, bruh. Like
Yeah,
seriously,
good call, good call.
like straight up, like abs just popping out. Dude looked like he dropped like 60 pounds. I mean, yo, Big Cass, you could have learned something from Noam Dar. I'm just saying, bruh. Just saying.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
but that main event, bruh, Mustafa Ali versus Buddy Lee, dude, dude. Oh my gosh. I have never seen a superplex on a standing what do you call those steps? Like uh
Yeah.
the 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 steps outside the ring. They brought him inside the ring and they did a standing superplex off of the oh bro, it was just amazing, bro. That match was just flipping amazing, man.
We'll
And
have to check it out.
now you do gotta check that out, bro. Like literally, that match blows away anything that happened this week in Raw or SmackDown. And so uh, I'm glad that we kind of went into this because I got a question for you, man. So I think Raw is terrible mainly because of the fans. And I say this because the fans complained about they've complained about everything under the sun and they've gotten everything that they've wanted for the exception of Roman Reigns. Well, even Roman Reigns, they wanted Roman Reigns away from the title. We got him away from the title. Um, and his promos are terrible. I mean, or his matchups and his chemistry with everyone is terrible. People were complaining about 205 Live being integrated into Raw. They got that
Yeah.
removed, and it's terrible. We've got the combining of the pay-per-views together, and now we have this long ass stretch where the storylines don't make sense because the long ass stretches between both brands is terrible. I think this is all a contributing factor to giving the fans what they want, man. And I'm not a fan.
So explain that, because I don't understand. Are you saying Raw is terrible or wrestling is terrible?
Raw has suffered the majority of it for like everything that they've wanted in Raw, for the exception of the taking out the 3 hours and bringing it down to 2 hours, which I still don't think that would help Raw. They've got the deep push of Roman Reigns from the main title, at least temporarily. They got 205 Live away from um, got 205
Away from Raw, yeah.
away from Raw. Then we've got the combined pay-per-views together, which Raw is taking a brunt of the um I mean, they're taking the brunt of the uh, I should say the negative part of having them together because they've got so much talent that they can't use or build to put into their pay-per-views. And it to me it makes it unbearable, man. Like I was sitting here watching Raw this week, and like literally the first and mind you, I watched Raw on Hulu, but the first 35-40 minutes of Raw was nothing but Roman Reigns.
Yeah, yeah, true, true, true. And he had two matches.
And yeah, and he had two matches, and then we got the Bailey segment, and then from the Bailey segment we got the main event, and that was it. Like it's it's trash, man. It's complete and utter trash. And I think that a contributing factor to why it's so much trash is because you've given the fans what they want, and it's terrible. It's just it's terrible. We don't.
Who's to blame? I mean, if we give the fans what they want and people don't want it, whose fault is that? That sounds whose fault is that?
It's the fans, man. I mean, it's a combination of creative not getting on the ball and being lazy, but it's also the fans, man. At some point we have to take responsibility of what we've created, man. Like we've complained about something, but we complain about it, but we don't replace it with something that's meaningful at all. And as a result, Raw sucks, man. Like I don't even watch. I To be honest with you, I wait till Wednesday to watch Raw. I watch SmackDown. SmackDown just seems like an overall better product. But like it's this week. Oh, and another thing, the shenanigans, the 4th of July shenanigans, like I didn't see any of that between any of the brands whatsoever. And I think that would have enhanced the show a bit more. Um,
So
we've
you're
got
a fan of the B team, but you hate Raw?
they weren't even on Raw. B Team wasn't on Raw. I
But
enjoy
on the
when
Hulu cut.
I guess not on the Hulu cut then, but they weren't on Raw when I saw them.
So that's the gift and the curse of Raw. The gift and the curse being it's 3 hours is the gift. The curse is that it's hard to be entertaining that whole time. So to me, what was
But
nice, and we touched on this last
is
week,
it really hard to be entertaining, putting on good matches, making sure that your promos for those who don't are very strong in cutting promos don't exceed 2 minutes? I
yes.
mean,
So let me reference it this way: 3 hours. Name a couple of things not sports related. So not like a football game is more than 3 hours. A basketball game could be right at 3 hours.
mhm.
Name a movie. Name several that are above that are right and around the 2.5 hour mark that entertain you. Because I feel like to keep somebody's attention span, you get 2.5 hours tops, unless you're like this Martin Scorsese, like Wolf of Wall Street, right?
Yeah.
Great movie. Probably pushing 2.5, maybe a little more. So name some things that you do like, Sage, that are over 2.5 hours, that are right at 2.5 to 3 hours. Movies wise.
Okay. So I absolutely love The Lord of the Rings, all
I
three
knew you would go
series.
there. I knew.
I gotta start this, son. I gotta start there, man. I loved let's see. I loved Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, and that was like 2.5 hours. The Deathly Hollows, that was 2.5 hours, and I enjoyed that thoroughly. What else have I seen that was pushing that limit?
Blood in, blood out.
Yeah, Bound by Honor. Yeah, Blood in, Blood out, Bound by Honor. Tres puntos like spiders. Get them, Chucky. Yeah.
So it's
Um,
hard to keep. Is it easy to? Because movies don't typically go over 2 hours, and I think it's just hard to keep your audience over 2 hours.
no, it's hard when you can't create a decent storyline. Like it doesn't always have to be action, but the story has to be compelling as well. I mean, it has to be compelling. That's the problem that Raw has. They can't put on compelling stories um, for the time that they don't have action inside the ring. And a lot of times they kind of handicap themselves by latching on something that used to work or worked for a different uh, what I'm trying to say, different gimmick, I guess. Like the
Right.
whole Sasha Bailey
Right.
kind of thing happened with Team Hell No. They kind of were just using that format. Like it didn't really work very well.
I
Um,
liked it. I
I
liked it
enjoyed it.
only because it referenced the same doctor that Team Hell No used.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed the callbacks and stuff, but as far as Bailey's interactions and Sasha's interactions, like it fell flat for me. Like I think that they could have done something completely different with them to make it work. And I mean, I don't know, man. It just
You just want to see a, a rivalry.
I need Raw to be more original, is what I need. That's it. I mean, if you're gonna do away with 205 Live, if you're gonna combine the pay per views together, um, and if you're going to not utilize your B string talents outside of the B team, then I'm gonna need you to become original and do something, create something new for us so that we can be entertained. And if you're putting the onus on the fans, then let us know that you're putting the onus on us. Be transparent about it, so that way we can take it seriously and give you our honest input. You don't have to take everything that we say, but I mean, take a little bit from here, take a little bit from there, and mold it into your own and make it a better product. Whatever SmackDown is doing day in and day out, and 205 Live and NXT are doing day in, day out, like you need to take some of that talent and bring it over to Raw and let them work. Because whatever you guys are doing on Raw is just not working for me.
Well, they got that new contract. New contract, new money.
Yeah, I, I get that, but that doesn't mean that you should rest on your laurels, right? Like people who become complacent end up destroying the very product that they have. So it's good to enjoy that money for the first couple of weeks, the first couple of months. But if you continue to be complacent, something bigger and better is going to come along and shuffle you under the rug, or worse, you're going to end up losing or alienating your fan base even more. And that's not something I want to see for WWE. But it seems like it's happening more and more. At least for me, it is.
Yeah, I agree. So I like where Raw is going. So over cumulatively speaking, I like that Raw is slow and steady pushing Finn Balor, slow and steady pushing Seth Rollins, and the Revival has kind of had a resurgence as of late. I think the Revival is one of the greatest tag teams in the WWE right now. So I really think that, and Braun Strowman's doing well. He's got a part-time feud slash comedy thing going on, so you want to watch it with Kevin Owens. So I actually like what Raw has going on cumulatively, overall speaking. But I will say that not all of it has to do with the in-ring competition. So Kevin Owens and Braun Strowman, I don't think they're going to have a great match if they ever have a match. But it's just interesting to it's a TV. Raw is a definite TV show. SmackDown is a definite I'm watching wrestling show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I I, I like what Raw's doing. Um, we'll see in our SummerSlam predictions on when Brock wins or loses or whatever. But it just I wish there was a more permanent champion around. But and then we have to remember Raw still has Ronda Rousey, so there's always that entertaining aspect, and she's done amazing in the ring. So
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely enjoying that, but the only time that we get to enjoy Ronda Rousey is during pay-per-views, unfortunately. So it's I don't know, man. I think that I re- I'm just I'm having a hard time coping with this combined pay-per-view thing, man. It's I think it's a detriment to the brands, but I mean, we'll see. It's only been one.
yeah, yeah, one so far. On to SmackDown. I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm looking forward to Jeff Hardy and Nakamura this feud. I wasn't a fan last week when we talked about, kind of what's left for Nakamura. Where's he gonna go? And we didn't know if we were gonna get the Will of the Wisp or what in general we were gonna get. I think we'll get kind of an iteration of broken Jeff Hardy, but not Willow, but broken Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
Uh, I think Shinsuke and Jeff could be a big feud.
Um, I'm not really interested in it, to be honest with you.
No,
No,
I,
I mean, it's kind of hard to sell me on Brother Nero without Matt Hardy. Like it's very difficult. It seems like he's grasping for straws because he can't get over on his own. But uh, I mean, it just feels like they're setting him up for failure, man. It's just pure nostalgia right now for him, and I think his best work is with his brother, not necessarily in a tag team, but just being within that whole universe, man. So, uh, uh, I'm I don't know. And then also coupled with the fact that if they give Nakamura the title, it's a big fu to everyone.
yeah.
So at this point in time, and it's sad for me to say this, man, but I think I'm checked out on Nakamura, and
Wow.
it has nothing to do with him, anything that he's done. I love Nakamura when he's in the ring. I love his character development, but at this point, if he's not vying for the title as a true contender, I'm not interested in it whatsoever. So thanks WWE for ruining Nakamura for me.
Wow. Strong words from Sage
Yeah.
Mark. Strong words from Sage Mark. But the good thing is because it's Shinsuke Nakamura, it could be revamped.
If they're not serious about putting the title on him, it doesn't matter how many times you revamp him.
So do you think we'll ever see a Japanese champion?
Nope. And I think that that's completely idiotic that they refuse to put H they refuse to put the title, a viable title, on a Japanese star. I mean, they're not even worth putting on the Intercontinental title on them. Don't give me the US title. The US title means shit. But you can't even put the IC title on one of these Japanese stars? Like seriously, are you guys that like paranoid that they can't carry things? I mean, they used to say the same thing about AJ Styles. That's the reason why they
True.
took the title off of him.
Yeah, no, great point.
I just I can't, man. Just like Drake says, man, I'm upset.
Sing it.
$50 on my head as disrespect. Can't go 50-50 with no hopes.
No disrespect. So,
Mm-mm.
yeah. What'd you think of the Drake album? Side note, by the way. Half R&B.
I'm enjoying it, bro. I mean, it's not the normal summer music that he's used to coming out to, but I enjoy when you take risks and do something different. Um, I'm enjoying it, man. I'm enjoying it. I love it when you can bring in real life experiences, and that's what hip hop and rap and R&B is missing nowadays. Is there's no true hurt or realism in your music anymore. So
I would sell out in a heartbeat. So if somebody said, "Hey, I don't want you to talk about truth in the heart. I just want you to talk about uh, chicks, the
a
beach,
poopity
money,
scoop.
or whatever." The poopity scoop. Poopity. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, next week we have a busy show because we have our predictions. Hopefully, for the record, I'm only at 60% updated on this update I'm doing on the laptop, which is bad. Wanted to ask you real quick, UFC this weekend, and
Yeah,
then
man.
continue talking WWE if we need to. Stipe Miocic is fighting Daniel Cormier.
How the hell did that happen?
Oh well, John Jones is suspended and Cormier is undefeated outside of the two losses to Jones. So, and he used to fight at heavyweight, and he beat the shit out of the heavyweights.
Did he just
So,
faint or something like that on the stage?
oh no, that was somebody else. I
Oh,
don't know who that was.
I thought that was Cormier.
No, no, no. So, I think Cormier's got a shot. I don't
Okay.
think he's got a shot against Stipe. Unfortunately, I'd love to see
Yeah,
him win.
he ain't
But
beating no Stipe, bro. He ain't bringing no Stipe. Come talk to me, Cormier. you you ain't beating no Stipe.
yeah, I don't think so either. I think it'll be no. I don't think so either.
Uh,
But the
dude,
Max Holloway was supposed to fight and got I think the weight cut got to him, man. So what do you think about these fighters that got to cut weight? They got to cut 20 pounds in 3 days and stuff like that. Should they just get rid of that in general?
that's not healthy, man. Like that's I mean, I know how it is to cut weight that much, man, in that amount of time, and it's not healthy, man. It'll take your energy level is completely low. You're at a disadvantage. It's it's just it's not good, man. I heard that he's possibly being checked into some type of clinic.
It's rough. It's really rough. I mean, it's I've seen him in some rough conditions.
Yeah, I would just hope he gets better, man. Hope he gets better soon. It's just kind of difficult to cut that much weight, but I mean, he's a pretty good fighter. I enjoy watching him fight and stuff like that, man. But man, you gotta take care of yourself, man. Gotta be number one. Nah, I mean,
Yeah, yeah, completely. The UFC is a tough bubble, right? So there's a lot that you got going on in the UFC just from a competitive standpoint, but then you're throwing injuries and all this other stuff on top of that, and the weight cutting. So, okay, fill me in. Should they allow weight cutting?
um, it's kind of hard to say. It's kind of hard to say that they shouldn't allow it because if they don't allow it, then it's going to make it. You're going to have a lot of subject cards subject to change, kind of thing. But maybe if you do outlaw it, maybe it gives them incentive to get more into shape a lot sooner. Um, so that way they can kind of get used to the weight that they're supposed to be in. But I don't know, man. I think that if you're off by 1 or 2 pounds, or even maybe 3 pounds, I think you should be okay. As long as you're not abusing it, I think you should be okay. I don't like that whole thing that Cormier had to go through on his last fight, where I think he was like 3 pounds over the limit, and then he went to go throw up, and get butt naked or something like that just to make the weight. That's ridiculous to me, man. Like that's just straight up not right, man. So, but we'll see, man. That's supposed to be the main. I think that's supposed to be the main event for this Saturday, right? I'm gonna take that as a yes. Ben Goose is showing nothing but disrespect right now, man, by not answering your boy's questions. I think there's something wrong with something wrong with him, man. He's going through all these difficult, man. You're gonna have to send some kind of help desk to him or something like that, Goose. You're crazy, man. In any event, man, you need to make that a point to go watch that 205 live because that 205 live was hot this week. That's all I'm saying. And Goose is like flickering with this stuff
On the
right now.
fucking call.
Well, dude, there you have it. Goose, what's going on, man? We live in the air. You going through some troubles, bro.
Well, sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties. If you could hear me, great. If you can't, great. But we may have to wrap up the call this week. So I'm having some technical difficulties. Crazy show this week. I mean, I think we covered everything in and outside the ring, right?
Yeah, I think we have, man. It's a pretty short week for wrestling. Next week will be our go home show, so we'll be able to articulate more of the findings. Hopefully, we have a pretty decent go home show coming next week. Yeah, it should be interesting. Ronda Rousey should be in the house next Sunday. Buying her ticket. I expect her to definitely put some hands on Nia Jax, or not Nia Jax, but Alexa Bliss during her match with Nia Jax. So that should be interesting.
Perfect. Well, sorry for the quality this week. I will get your boy Ben Goosen, Sage and Mark. I need to figure out a way to get some updates done here in the apartment dome. I think that's what I'm gonna call it, the apartment dome. Sage Mark, I think you can hear me right now as we do this. Well, I know you can hear me, but the quality sucks. If you're listening to the show again, we really apologize. There was a big software issue and hardware issue that we had today that Ben Goosen could not overcome, unfortunately. But if you donate to the Patreon account, maybe that would certainly help us in our efforts here. But we certainly appreciate everybody. IRWP.us. Sage Mark, would you mind throwing out those credentials, the phone number, all that good stuff? Because technologically speaking, it's not going great for me today.
I got you, bro. I got you. No worries, my man. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it. It's your boy Sage the Mark, Ben Goosen, signing out. Y'all make sure to go check us out at www.irwp.us. Also hit us up at Patreon, patreon.com/IRWP. Show some love. Got some great contests going on this month, including a folding chair for War Games 2017 War Games. So y'all go ahead and be sure to check that out. So with that being said, I'm your boy Sage the Mark. That boy over there is Ben Goosen. Y'all know the drill. Keep it real. All right, thank you guys so much for reaching out. This is your boy Sage the Mark signing you guys out. Just letting you know, please be sure to go ahead and check us out at www.irwp.us or on our Patreon, patreon.com/IRWP. Remember, the thoughts and opinions expressed on here are that of the hosts and not of IRWP. So y'all make sure to go check us out, show some love. If you guys are on Twitter, you can hit us up at Real WrestleCast on Twitter. Instagram, it's Real Wrestling Podcast on Instagram. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good night. Keep it real.